beauty of our great outdoors across the USA.
There's hardly a more tasty fish that swims than this one. It's called a yellow perch. This is actually a trophy-sized yellow perch. They're found throughout the Great Lakes and many parts of the United States, and they're not really difficult to catch. There's several places on the Great Lakes where they have party boats. You can go out and a whole group of people catch them, and we did. Caught some really nice ones. We're gonna take you along in just a moment. Also, we have a great recipe for salmon lasagna and a lot more. So join me. I'm Fred Trost. It's time for the Outdoor Digest.
Off Southern California and Florida, there are lots of boats like this. They're called party boats. They take out lots of anglers. This one, the Captain Nichols II, takes out about 40, 45 fishermen. We're out on a trip perch fishing off of southern Lake Michigan. South Haven is the port. Lots of boats in and out of this port, many of them in July fishing for perch. Captain Don Nichols Jr. is at the helm, guiding the boat through the pier heads. By the way, there's lots of folks on those piers catching perch, but we're going to go out to the fishing grounds, the rock piles, where they bring in the jumbos. Some anglers were ahead of us. There they are. Oh, look at that, pulling in a jumbo perch. That's the type we like to catch. Perch are about the tastiest fish you can catch in the Great Lakes. An excellent eating fish. They don't fight a lot, but they are fun to catch, and if you're lucky and have a good day, you'll catch lots of them. In years past, on this trip in July, we haven't caught lots of them, but today, as the anchor went down, one came aboard.
You got one, right? Oh, there you go. First fish for $20, was it?
First fish for $20. That's the pot that the customers put together on their own for the first fish. But now look at this. This is real time. This is after the first fish was caught. The camera swung around, and another came aboard, a jumbo perch, and it was a double.
Oh, the nice fish, too.
Yeah. Double.
Oh, look
double,
at that.
a double.
Nice fish. Get him in. Swing him in. Whoa.
Doubles!
Whoa.
Bowl!
Look. Get him in here. Oh, holy cats, look at look at these. Oh, there's the big one of the, there's the, that fish. Holy cats.
Say what, 2 minutes we've been here?
Yeah, just put it in 2 minutes. There she is. Look at that.
Holy cats. I think you got the winner already.
Oh my man.
I think that's a keeper.
Well, I tell you, today I can't believe the number of jumbos and number of just nice, respectable perch we've caught.
Yeah, there's some nice ones here. The water's been cold for the last 3 or 4 days and they haven't been eating, and sooner or later they got to turn on, and when they do, they just go like gangbusters. They're just like today, which has been pretty good.
The other thing too that I think I have another one here. God, I can't believe it. I didn't even bait that other hook. Okay, yep, I got another one here. Oh,
better.
Nice one, yeah, nice one. Respectable perch. Not many of the real small ones you had to throw back.
No, not today. It's been pretty good.
Now, most of the time when you go out, do you find that the water is as calm as it is? I mean, this is a beautiful day for fishing.
Yeah, it's the last 3 weeks have been like this. We've only had a couple days where it's gotten a little rough, and this is uncommon for this time of year, and the lake's gotten real nice, water's gotten clear, and that's made for some pretty good fishing. We've had some east winds this week though, which has cooled the water down, and that's why it's been tough fishing. This morning,
a double.
Yeah. This morning wasn't very good. We only took 100 fish this morning on the whole boat, so that's why I decided to try something new.
We've got to take close to 1,000 on this trip.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do us a fish count on the way in just to see, but the last one was over 500, and that was a couple hours ago.
Holy cats! I tell you, this is hot fishing. The nice thing about this too is you got some elbow room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's comfortable. I can bring the kids along and have a good time.
That's what we're catering to. Let's try to make it nice. I only had one bait on there too.
How'd you decide on this place, though, Don?
Last year we ran a trip up here once a week, and I got to learn the grounds pretty good, and that trip didn't work out. It was an all-day trip. People didn't like to go that long, so we didn't do it anymore. But when the fishing gets tough down there, I'll just start working my way up here, and today I just thought I'd go for it and run all the way up here. Now I'm glad I did.
Jumbo! All right. Jumbo. Now that's the way I like to catch perch. Is it pretty much hit and miss when it comes to perch fishing out of South Haven?
Yeah. That's one day you'll go out and do just like this, and I can come out here tomorrow and get 10 fish. It's hit and miss.
When does it get better as the summer progresses?
Usually in August, it's pretty steady. You can come out here and do pretty good. The lake stays calm like it is now, and the water gets up to the right temperature, and they do real good. Get a lot of consistent catches.
Now, last year with your dad, we were out, I think it was in July, and man, it was the first major storm and the first rain kind of broke the back of that drought we had last year.
Yeah, I know. I followed him in, and I got hit by a water spout about a mile and a half behind you guys. That's one of the worst blows I've been in with this boat.
Well, but we were perfectly safe out there.
Yeah, it just slowed down, let it go on by, and it never got real rough, just a lot of rain, and just followed the radar on home.
Okay, now tell me the answer to one little question, mighty captain here. I started out using the minnows, like virtually everyone did, and I couldn't buy a hit. All of a sudden, I went to the crawdad tails.
Yeah, that's must be just the bait that's in the area. The crabs like the rocks, and we're on some real heavy rocks here. And if that's what's down there, then that's what they're going to feed on. Crabs and cut bait have been working the best today.
Crabs and cut bait?
Cut bait,
okay.
Yeah,
Could you show us how the cut bait works?
Okay, I got one piece left on here, I believe.
Okay. Cut bait is
just a filleted perch, and we skin it and then cut it up in little 1/4-inch chunks. And just stick that on there. You can usually get 4 or 5 fish with it.
That's perch fillet.
That's perch
fillet. And
fillet.
you just stick a chunk of it on there?
Just stick a chunk on there, and then I'll put some other bait on the bottom. But once the fish are going good, you can go to that cut bait. And like I said, you can get 4 or 5 fish on each bait, and you don't have to be baiting all the time.
I'll be darned.
And that's what I got the bigger ones on, like that one right there was on cut bait.
Well, cut bait performed well on this day, as well as crayfish, minnows, anything you wanted to put down. But you know, one of the highlights of fishing on a party boat isn't just the fish you catch that you can eat later. It's the galley. For me, it's always been the highlight of party boat fishing when I've done it in Southern California and now on the Great Lakes. And you know that this man was in absolute heaven. Now, I don't know how many burgers this was that he downed, but let me tell you, they were tasty. And so are the perch that we're going to have later. Lots of them and big ones. What a great day on the Great Lakes.
Here's a nice 21 3/4-inch smallmouth bass caught by 8-year-old Clayton Kowaleski on a spot tail minnow. Bob Wilson hooked this 2-pound, 9-ounce white bass fishing a nightcrawler, probably fishing for walleyes. And here's a decent channel catfish, 8-pound and 8 ounces caught on a spoon. Daniel Lauterbaugh was the lucky angler. Terry DeFord took this 11-point whitetail buck with a 20 1/4-inch spread on opening day of the gun season. Now, Gerald Jaremski tagged a 14-pointer with a 19.5-inch spread using his rifle. And here's Terry DeFord's farm buck, a 200-pounder, a 10-pointer with a 21 3/4-inch spread. Matt Prime took this 19-pound gobbler with a 10.5-inch beard by stalking it. Now, here's a story for you. Sam Cobb and his buddies were fishing salmon when he hooked this 25-pound, 1-ounce trophy lake trout. And that's when all holy heck broke loose.
All 4 lines went off, and we had all 20-pound plus kings on, and this one here. And we had 2 of the 25-pounders in the net, and he had to go in it too. The only thing we had to land him with, we got him in there, and I grabbed my nephew by the belt, and he grabbed the other fish by the gills, and I lifted him fish and all back in the boat. So that's how we got this one.
So you got all 4 fish that you hooked?
Yep, plus my nephew.
Well, Sam Cobb, for catching a big fish and a relative on the same trip, we're going to name you our Outdoor Digest Trophy Angler of the Week. The waterfowl outlook for this year continues to be bleak in the Prairie Pothole region. In southern Saskatchewan, fewer than 1 million mallards were found. Saskatchewan and South Dakota also show alarming decreases in pintail numbers. Numbers of wet potholes, though, are increasing, leaving some hope for duck breeding success in the future. The National Science Foundation has awarded a $14,000 wildlife study grant to Dr. Craig Weatherby of Albion College. Previously, Dr. Weatherby has studied movement and behavior of birds along with analysis of vocal communications. The new grant will finance a study of animal reaction to weather conditions. 4 young peregrine falcons have been released in downtown Columbus, Ohio. The release is part of an effort to establish one nesting pair in central Ohio. Downtowns offer ideal urban environments because of tall buildings, which are like cliffs and canyons. The 1989 federal duck stamp price is going up. The cost will be $12.50. That's up $2.50 over last year. The increase is to keep up with the increasing cost of acquiring wetlands. South Dakota and the National Wild Turkey Federation have signed an agreement to work together on behalf of continued reintroduction of wild turkeys to that state. And a Memphis State University student corralled a couple of turkey poachers from Alabama. Robert Kissel was obtaining data for a research project in the Laurel Hill Wildlife Area when he heard shots and discovered a dead hen turkey. Kissel got license numbers and descriptions of the poachers, who later pled guilty. There are growing tensions in much of North America between sport anglers and Native Americans. Treaties a century or so old are now coming back to haunt fisheries managers and anglers as Native Americans decide to exercise their treaty rights. Even Alaskan and Canadian sport fishermen are complaining that tribal fishermen are using their rights not just to feed their families, but to exploit fish for selling commercially. In Wisconsin, walleyes and muskies were speared on their spawning runs, in some cases sold commercially by Native Americans. All Great Lakes states, along with western states bordering the Pacific, know of the problem of overfishing trout and salmon stocks by tribal fishermen. Now, virtually all states could be under this treaty gun, even though states alone are almost powerless to act. Only the President and the Congress can make a difference. And that's important because an act of Congress is needed that would allow states to bypass treaty fishing rights and fairly compensate treaty fishermen for any losses. In other words, buy them out. Do it fair and square, and fish stocks could be saved. And the mounting tensions between Native Americans and sport anglers would be eased.
What bird was released in New York City in 1890 by a man who wanted to introduce all the birds in Shakespeare plays to America? The starlings spread across the country to become a nuisance throughout the United States. They eat insects, but also damage fruit farms by eating berries, cherries, apples, and pears. They also steal the nests of other birds.
For Judith LeBrier from Minden, Louisiana, and for some 300 other young sharpshooters from 40 states, Canada, Mexico, and from as far away as Great Britain, practice paid off. These young shooters competed in the 23rd annual DAISY USJC's International BB Gun Championships, held in 1988 at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. And even though the competition is limited to youngsters, this event has become the third largest organized shooting competition in the world.
The program now involves over 250,000 youngsters each year that go through this shooting education program, and it's a 10-hour course conducted by local JC chapters.
Shooting takes place on a 5-meter range. Top scores require pinpoint accuracy.
We practice 6:30 to 8 o'clock at night, every night during the weekdays and sometimes on Sundays.
I'm from Myerstown, Pennsylvania, and I've been shooting for 3 years. And I like coming out to the internationals because you get to meet a lot of new people, and this is the best that I've done at the internationals.
I'm 12 years old, and I've been shooting for 2 years, and I enjoy it because it's a lot of fun and it teaches you gun safety, which really needs to be learned.
I'm from Great Britain, and I've been shooting for just under 2 years now, and I enjoy shooting because it's just a wonderful sport.
For information on how to qualify for the 1989 Internationals, contact your local JC chapter or DAISY or the National Shooting Sports Foundation at area code 203-762-1320.
My first introduction to a new shotgun game. It's called Sporting Clays. It's done on a course of different shooting stations in woods, fields, and ponds at the Grand Blanc Huntsman Club.
So here we are at the first
First pod.
station?
Yes, first station.
Okay.
This is where we get to be humble, or whatever.
Now, who's the puller?
The puller.
Oh, you're the puller.
Yeah.
Where do you pull from?
In the hole down here in the pit.
Oh, okay.
He gets to
The first station is actually the pit from the Crazy Quail shotgun game. The puller loads the targets. His trap is on a swivel that rotates 360 degrees. You don't know what direction the clay pigeon will be going.
You can legally ask to see a bird if you walk to a station and none have been fired. So when I walked here, I could say, could I see a bird? But that's not going to help me here.
Because you already know.
No,
No,
because
go any place.
they're going to go anywhere in that area, so I can't really take and say, let me see a target, because the next one won't be there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to shoot blind, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Red Ball holds the club record for Sporting Clays, 43 out of 50. That made me a little self-conscious.
Paul! Huh.
I knew there was a chip coming off in that one.
Sure is great to have a peanut gallery back there, I'll tell you. Paul!
There it is.
All right. Oh, do I feel much better now.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's
After the
what
first station, I'd only hit 1 out of 4. They said a good score for anyone is 25 out of 50. The next station is harder.
It's called doubles on report. And it's something you'll encounter in the grouse woods where the bird flushes, you fire a shot, and at the sound of your shot, the second bird gets up. And that's what you're going to have here. The first bird will go out between the two far trees. At the sound of your shot, another trap will throw a target. Still right to left crossing, but it'll be much closer to you.
Okay.
It's going to be tricky.
You're first this time.
I'm first.
This is the victim. We got him, and he's ready. Now.
Pull it!
In slow motion, you can see Pat Burke's shot. It breaks the clay pigeon in half. At the sound of his shot, the second pigeon is thrown in a little different direction. He smokes this one. You can see it through the trees in the middle of your screen. A perfect hit.
Nice pair. Nice pair.
These are the traps used for this station. Sometimes they mix in different sized and different color clay pigeons just to add variety.
Ooh.
All right, here's the man of the hour.
Doubles.
No problem here.
Paul!
I hit this one, but it came apart behind the tree. But I was so thrilled with myself, I almost forgot there was a second target on its way, but I split that target with just a couple of pellets.
Oh, do I feel better?
Hear it now. Hey, you got the record. That's 3.
That's right.
Shooting skill is the biggest part of Sporting Clays, but I found that Red's special 1,350 feet per second loads with extra hard shot breaks targets faster and easier.
Ready.
What?
You can actually tell in slow motion that the shot reaches the pigeon faster. You can see the shot string and the wad. Red's second shot was low and behind. It's really apparent on videotape why shots miss. Because of the speed of this game and the unpredictability, a lot of misses are low and behind.
If you took and cut down all these trees, so it's all wide open, through the same targets, be no problem at all. It's just the terrain and the trees is what does it. Everybody's, feeling closed in or whatever, I don't know. Most people are used to skeet and trap, which is the same thing over and over. It's wide open.
Oh,
You take and put these trees in the middle of a skeet or trap field,
barrel.
and they're going to have a heck of a time with them too. So it's
trees. That's what makes sporting clay so tough. You have to pick your shots and punch the trigger just like hunting. The last stations of the course are on the pond, simulating duck hunting in a marsh. The targets come in like fast-flying teal.
Ready.
Paul. Beautiful. Hey, all right. Woo. All right.
What?
Nice shot, Bert. Congratulations.
Taking a look at this sport in slow motion is a real treat for the good hits and the misses. You can see a part of the wad flying ahead of the second bird, probably where the shot went.
Just behind.
First one, never miss one.
I think he is.
I've never seen anybody miss one on here before. Red, 39. Pat, 33. Fred, 22. Tim, 23. And Everett, 23.
That 22, that's a keeper.
That is
That's
a
a
keeper.
good
Congratulations.
shooting.
Your first time. That is really good.
Well, my score wasn't great, but what fun I had. Gail Brandt from Potterville won our fish division of our cooking contest last March with salmon lasagna. Kathy Beitler, watching you put this together right now, I think is going to change a lot of people's mind about their preconceived notions.
Oh, salmon lasagna doesn't sound that good, but it's actually like a tuna noodle casserole. And that's what makes it, is a pesto sauce. And pesto sauce is basil and garlic and parsley. Now, you can buy pesto sauce now, which really makes it nice.
In that little package.
In a package. And then you can go ahead and saute your onions and celery, and your pesto sauce goes in there, too. And you don't want to cook that thoroughly. You want to leave it just half crisp. Go ahead and put in your salmon.
Is that cooked salmon, canned salmon?
No, just canned salmon, and it's not cooked, pre-cooked. And
oh, like the kind you could get in the grocery store?
yes, exactly, right off the shelf. And then we're going to mix your cheeses together. We've got mozzarella cheese and Monterey Jack, which you really can't tell the difference here, but it is two different kinds of cheeses and two different textures. You go ahead and put that in with your salmon mixture. And it also has cream cheese in it. And then you mix your ricotta cheese and cottage cheese, which actually is everything that goes into a lasagna.
Now that looks good right
there.
It
Yeah,
does.
it'd be good just like that
Has the
itself.
onions and celery and all
Yep.
that stuff in it?
And then you're going to go ahead and just make your layers just like you do with regular lasagna.
But no tomatoes and no hamburger.
No.
Not
And then
lasagna in that
sprinkle
sense.
Parmesan cheese on the top, and then it goes into the oven for an hour.
Well, Gail Brandt did a knockout job in our cooking contest, but I wonder how Bob Garner will like the way you cook this, Kathy.
The plate in just a couple of minutes here is going to be as clean as a hound's tooth. She did an excellent job. This is really a delightful dish. It's like the real expensive seafood pastas you might get in a fantastic restaurant. This is really delightful stuff.
I think the pesto sauce really adds to this.
I don't know all these seafood pastas in those fancy restaurants, and I don't know this pesto sauce business. I haven't really had those kind of things. Reminds me, get this, of chicken enchiladas a little bit that aren't spicy.
Yeah,
Because the onions in here and the cheese and the cottage cheese. And I could, I might make a change this year. Garner's always been the judge in the recipe contest. I'm thinking about making a big switch.
Uh-oh.
Having Bob ask the questions, I think I'll eat.
It's in my contract, buddy. You stay away from the food.
Oh, man, this is terrific.
It is. It's very, very good.
If that recipe looked good to you, but you didn't catch all the ingredients, no problem.
I'm glad I did.
Jumbo! All right. Jumbo. Now that's the way I like to catch perch. Is it pretty much hit and miss when it comes to perch fishing out of South Haven?
Yeah. That's one day you'll go out and do just like this, and I can come out here tomorrow and get 10 fish. It's hit and miss.
Next week on Outdoor Digest, we're going to take a look at a different style of fishing, the way it's done in Europe. European-style fishing. Now, it's not at all like we do in this country. No big lures, big hooks, big baits. It's all done with very tiny hooks, tiny baits. Sometimes they catch tiny fish, but they use this technique in tournaments. We found we can catch lots of fish in the summer using this technique here. So join me, find out how it's done next week on Outdoor Digest.